Welcome back to another episode of the Outside Looking In, man. Today we're gonna bring you the AFC South, Titans, Jaguars. I'm losing the team because they all suck. Colts and Texans. We're gonna start off with the Titans. I think they released Julio Jones. I think we'll just start off there. That was a failed plan with Julio. AJ Brown sounded very, very good on paper. That didn't work. I believe they did. Weren't they the ones who traded for Robert Woods? I think so. They traded for Robert
Yes.
Woods. So they got Robert Woods in there.
Only gave up a sixth or seventh round pick, but I think it was a sixth round pick.
Yeah, they gave up a 6th-round pick. So that's a great get. Coming off an ACL injury, I think he'll be fine. He tore like early enough in the season where he should be fine, when the season starts. But with them, honestly, they should just move on from Tannehill. That's my takeaway from the Titans. He's just not going to do it, man. He's a okay quarterback. He's a guy that I would bring in to bridge the gap. Maybe if I have a rookie, I want to sit for 1 year. But Tannehill is just not – he's just not it. That's just my answer for them, man. You got to give the running back the ball 35 times a game to win games, then you're probably not going to be a good football team, not in 2022 at least. So, man, they just got to get – I guess they're going to run it back with Tannehill and see what happens, but it's going to be the same thing. They're going to be in the playoffs, probably a first-round exit, maybe a wild card team or something like that, and it's just going nowhere for them.
Yeah, but the biggest thing I think with Tannehill is he plays fine as long as he's got Derrick Henry back there because everybody's loading up the box. As soon as Derrick Henry got hurt, that's when Tannehill's play went down. So as long as Derrick Henry is healthy, he's back there, you'll get, close to a Pro Bowl caliber play from Tannehill, maybe 13 out of the 17, games that he plays. And then, the other 4 games just going to be head scratchers. But yeah, their biggest thing is that they really can't do much outside of whatever they do in the draft. Run it back. At some point, they're going to have to sign AJ Brown to a contract. I still think they could probably use some help on defense. So that should be their biggest focus in the draft and offensive line because they had a lot of injuries throughout the offensive line. So outside of that, I don't see anything major happening, but those are some needs that they should definitely do in the draft.
Yeah, I think they'll probably go cornerback. They have the 26th pick. I don't know if it's going to be a good corner there, but at 26, they probably because Adoree Jackson got traded. That didn't work out for him. Malcolm Butler didn't work out for him. So they've just been hitting and missing on these corners. So they need to lock one in, at that cornerback position and then go from there. And next up, the Indianapolis Colts, who probably had actually, I won't say they had the best off. They had the second best offseason in this division. Obviously getting Matt Ryan, Stephon Gilmore as 2 huge pieces. Matt Ryan's definitely better than Carson Wentz. He's not the best in the world, but he's a solid quarterback. I would never say that when he played for the Falcons, but now that he's gone, I can admit he's pretty good. He's better than not Matt Ryan. He's better than Carson Wentz. So they're gonna have an upgrade there. The passing game's gonna look like something. I still think their biggest need is probably a receiver. Yep. Pittman, great. Everybody else, yeah, you never know what you're getting. They drafted Paris Campbell a couple years ago. He hasn't worked out from Ohio State. So they're definitely going to have to upgrade that. Not even just their receiver, just their receiving game in general. Because the tight ends they had, Mo Alley Cox and stuff, they were okay, but they didn't have a guy that, was dominating games and stuff like that. So they're going to have to upgrade their, receiving game. Obviously, Jonathan Taylor in the offensive line is going to carry them. But they upgrade their receiving game. The defense is pretty solid. I think they have a chance to win a division.
Yeah, because the secondary was actually pretty good last year without Gilmore. So you add Gilmore, and that's somebody that's going to take away, the opposing team's number 1 receiver off bat. I completely agree with you. They absolutely need a receiver. That should be actually. I don't know if they have a 1st-round pick. I don't think they did. I think they traded it. I take that back. We had it. Hey, that's right. So they're going to have to go wide receiver in the 2nd round. If they can't somehow maybe trade into maybe like the latter half of the 1st round, seeing how the draft is going and stuff, but they got to go receiver. Outside of that, tight end, I agree with you on that. That's about it. Defense is set, offensive line is set, running back is set. They got their quarterback. They should be contending, just like everyone thought they were last year. They should be contending again this year. Matt Ryan should be giving them better play than both Phillip Rivers and Carson Wentz.
And I just did a quick Colts mock draft. They have the 42nd pick. So that's number 10 pick in the 2nd round. That's not too bad, honestly. You can still get 1st-round talent right there. And the couple mocks I've seen, they've taken a receiver. One they taking Christian Watson. That better not happen because I know where he's going, and it's down in the bayou. But yeah, man, they're probably gonna need a receiver. They have to upgrade their receiving spot. That's super, super easy for them. If they do that, I think they'll win this division pretty convincingly, honestly. Then we'll move on to the Texans. Man, they coming off a 4-13 season. Obviously, they blockbuster trade in the summer with Deshaun Watson, sending him to the Browns. So they're going to get a lot of draft picks. Sound like they're going to give Mills another chance at quarterback this year. I think that's the right decision just because I'm not sold on any of the quarterbacks in this draft.
Mm-hmm.
So Texans, they're kind of like I said with the Jets. Time to build your team. You're not going to contend this season. Don't try to go get the sexy receivers and corners and running backs. Hey, build from the outside. Inside out. Get the offensive line, defensive line. Shore that up. You can sprinkle some weapons in here or there, but man, you got to build the offensive line and defensive line up. See what Mills, brings to the table. If he's not impressive, it's a good quarterback class next year. You draft a quarterback next year with those picks, and then you go from there.
Yeah, they re-signed Brandon Cooks after his name swirled around in trade rumors. But I completely agree. You just need to build through the draft. I was a little surprised with the Deshaun Watson trade, with the picks and everything. They didn't do, quarterback for quarterback swap in a sense. But they probably within the organization, they're like, if Davis Mills doesn't work out, we just want to start fresh with a quarterback. We don't want someone from the outside, someone with experience or anything like that. Like, we just want to build on a person. So I can't fault them for that. But yeah, build through the line. It worked the first time when you built through JJ Watt, you started working out that way. You had JJ Watt and Dwayne Brown, on the offensive line. So, just follow that recipe again. You should be okay. You should be fine in a couple years, but nobody's looking for you to contend this year. So don't try.
Yeah. Then I think the team who probably had the best offseason for in this division, the Jaguars, man, obviously winning 3 games last year. They fire Urban Meyer, get him out of there. That was a absolute failure. I know he just wasted 1 year of Trevor Lawrence development. This man come out as a generational quarterback, and then he just gets to the Jags, and he looks like bad. He played well at the end. I forget, who did knock out the playoffs? The Colts, I believe.
Yep.
At the end of the season, they knocked out the Colts at the playoffs.
I think, and that was his best game of the season, Trevor Lawrence.
He looked good in that game. But, man, I'm just going to read off some of their offseason signings. They got Evan Ingram, who hasn't lived up to his potential, but the potential's still there. He can still be a solid tight end. They signed cornerback Trey Herndon, Brandon Sheriff. I can't pronounce his last name, but he was in Washington, Iowa, coming from Iowa. They signed Zay Jones, Christian Kirk. So they added some receivers, offensive line help, cornerback help. They just added everywhere, basically. They had over $100 million to spend in free agency. They just started adding people. And if they draft well, they're looking like, hey, they can probably win 8 to 10 games, not 10, but probably 8 games this year. Probably be around a 500 team.
And to be honest, and that's fine because, they got Doug Peterson now in the head coach, Super Bowl winning head coach. And if he follows the same formula, it's his first year with us. He had a rookie quarterback in Carson Wentz. He needs to treat Trevor Lawrence like this is his rookie year all over again. Like last year, just forget it all. Yep. So just go out there, just make sure that he's learning the game, learning how to play offense, learning how to read defenses, all that kind of stuff. You're not putting him in the situations where he has to do all this hero type stuff. Literally they could do whatever they want in the draft because of their picks went everywhere. I would probably say maybe get another pass rusher opposite of Josh Allen. Maybe if you want to add a linebacker or a safety, but really they could do whatever they want in the draft.
They have the number 1 pick, so
yeah. And then the season after that, so the 2023-2024 season, that's the season that everybody will be looking to be like, all right, you all need to be in the contending for the playoffs, and let's see where you all are growing from there. But this should definitely be a team where you are, or a season where you're, one of the middle of the pack teams.
Yeah, for sure. That number 1 pick is going to be crucial, man. Honestly, everyone has them taking the edge rusher. Hutchinson, Thibodeau, who knows? Personally, I would take.
You could go offensive line and take Evan Neal.
That's what I was going to say. I would personally go offensive line, man. You get your quarterback of the future. You get your left tackle of the future, or maybe right tackle, wherever you want to play him. I would play him there, but honestly, they should try to look to trade back. I don't think they want to trade up this year for the number 1 pick just because it's not a quarterback. But if you can drop down to 3 or 4 or 5 or 6, and you add like a second round pick, maybe a next year first round pick, you can get the same talent, you know, in that top 5 that you'll get at number 1. Maybe the play that you were looking at, because I think it's going to be offensive lineman there. Edge rusher's probably still going to be there. So if you can drop down a couple spots and, you know, add some capital in the back end of the draft, that's the best option. But I don't think too many people are looking to get that number 1 pick this season. So probably going to be tough to do that for them. And man, that's honestly it. That's the AFC South. Who you got winning this division? I know it's super early, and I just want to, you know,
all right. So before the draft,
just before the draft,
I have the Colts.
All right, same. I won't hold you to this. I'll definitely after the draft and after free agency is really over, because some of the older guys that haven't got signed will probably get signed after the draft. So we'll see. But the Colts are definitely probably in the driver's seat. I think it's going to be a much better division. I think it's going to be a 3 solid team. I think the Texans are going to suck next year again, but I think they want to, so that's part of the plan. But yeah, man, that'll wrap up the AFC South. This is the Boot Tragedies once again. Yeah.
Deuces.